we're gonna say goodbye to our little boy.
All right. Put him in some tall grass and some weeds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is his favorite place on earth. So it's super nostalgic for us to come back here, and it's actually something that's been on the back burner for a long time. It's up to you what you want to do with your pet's ashes if you've kept them. We decided after having his ashes sitting around in his special box that we really wanted to bring him to his favorite place and release them. I know some people like to keep them forever, and that's totally fine, but like for our Dexter, he was a roamer, he was a lone wolf, he was a wild man, he was independent. And we just really wanted to bring him to the right place and kind of think of his spirit roaming here, even though we know he's with us and here all the time probably too. But just the thought of it just feels right. So this is what's left. This is Dexter. Took the screws out of the box and
Looks a little bit like pancake mix.
yeah,
Don't make pancakes with that.
No, we're gonna go ahead and just say some final words to our boy and then release him here.
I guess I just want to say, like, feel free to visit again. Have another dream. I'm sure he's very well taken care of wherever he is, and I hope that he's got lots of garbage cans to go through because that was his favorite thing. And I hope he has all the frozen poop in the world that he wants to eat, which is really gross, but that was also his favorite thing. Hope he's doing good wherever he is.
Okay. Dexter actually did change our lives. We were just talking about it. Before we came to the dog park, well, before we got Dexter, we didn't even walk very often, not regularly, and it had been a while actually, since we had a really good routine of getting out and walking and exercising. And because we had this big crazy dog with lots of energy, we had to get out and walk, and he would not leash. So when we found the off-leash dog park, it was a really big deal. So we would come here with him even in the coldest days of winter. We would come here for a big long day of walking. Otherwise we'd take him out for quick spins around the block closer to our neighborhood. So he actually implemented a really nice exercise routine that we really appreciated. We were just talking about that. So he got us out walking, which is a gift that we get to continue doing even though he's not here with us anymore.
Oh, he's just very comfortable with himself.
Yeah, that's true. So he was like...
He just did what he wanted, you know? And it's because we adopted him, so we didn't know where he came from or what his history was. So he had this personality already created, and it was sort of funny being able to navigate how he behaved because he was such an independent little creature. But he was just sassy and loving and goofy, and he'd make us laugh. And
so different than our cats.
So different than our cats. So different than like any energy I feel like we had previously, but he was just 100% himself at all times. And I think that's really awesome.
Totally unapologetic, never felt guilty for the slobbers or the chewing poop or the chasing squirrels up trees, or he would escape sometimes and he'd just go sit at the pizza store quite a few blocks away and wait until nice people found him and gave him pizza. I do remember that after he passed, we had quite a few visitations from Dexter. I physically saw him walking around the house out of the corner of my eye. Quick shadows, but at the exact right height that he would have been. We heard his dog collar jingle a few times. So these were physical things that we had in our home the week after he passed. I think immediately the first 3 days were really probably the most palatable that we could tune in on that. And then through the course of the years now, so many dream visits, so many visits and smells and just different reminders that he's around us.
In the dream, I was in a white room. It felt like a room, like there was tile, but there were no walls and everything was just white. And it felt very like a waiting room or like a medical room of some kind. And I was like kind of looking and I was like, why am I here? And then he was there and he kind of just like walked up to me and was wagging his tail and really excited to see me, and I was petting him and like playing with him, and it felt like we were there for hours, and I was like kind of like roughhousing him, and because he loved it because he's a big dog and he liked to like kind of play. So I was like wrestling him and like pushing him, and he like loved it, and he'd run back at me and try and grab me with his like mouth. And then after a while it sort of started to wind down naturally. And then I kind of looked at him and I was like, it's okay, like I know that you can't stay here. Like I know that you can't stay. And then it was really cute because his ears perked up like he heard somebody. in the distance calling to him, but I couldn't hear it. Whoever was calling to him, I couldn't hear it, but he heard it, and he like turned his head, like someone had said his name, and then he looked at me from the corner of his eye, which he used to do this every time he would run away, because he was a free spirit. He was, he was a street dog, so sometimes he'd just run away because he wanted to. He'd come back with pizzas, and we're like, who gave you a pizza?
French bread,
French
birds.
bread, dead birds. We're like, what is this? So his ears perked up, and then he turned and looked at the voice, and then looked at me out of the corner of his eye like he knew he was going to do something that was going to get him in trouble, but like didn't care because that's his personality. Looked at me, and then threw his head back, and then ran that direction, and then I woke up. And it was very funny. I woke up because it was just his personality, and it was very much him.
Yeah.
And it was like him saying goodbye and like letting me know that he was okay. Yeah, it was a cool dream. But that's the only one that I've had, and that was all I needed. You know, I think I felt him around in other ways, and just kind of like, it was more of like a feeling where like I'd be thinking about him and I'd know that he was around, but it was definitely more of just a sense of like knowing that he's okay and at peace. And that was the one dream that I had though, where I was like, okay, I get it, he's good now.
Mine actually happened much sooner after he passed, and yours was about a year after.
Yeah, it was almost exactly a year.
So I just want to say that for people that have not heard from their pet yet, don't despair about that. Don't worry. It will happen when you're ready for it. It'll happen when it's meant to happen. Just don't give up hope on it. Know that they do exist, that they're really, really happy. They're healthy. They're still loving you. They're trying to visit from the other side. And you will have this experience sooner or later. Whenever it's your time, you will. We love you, boy. Thank you for all the happy memories.